Professor Fathi. Now I'd like to introduce the team that made a WHO simulation model under the supervision of Professor Karim al-Battuti.
والآن مع فريق عمل نموذج محاكاة منظمة الصحة العالمية تحت إشراف الأستاذ الدكتور كريم البطوطي.
صباح الخير عليكم جميعا. اولا عايز ابتدي كلامي بالشكر والتقدير لاداره الجامعه، بدايه من السيد الاستاذ الدكتور معالي رئيس الجامعه، الاستاذ الدكتور محمود المتيني، دكتور عبد الفتاح سعود، دكتور ايمن، دكتور هشام. الحقيقه هي فرصه جميله، ولاول مره ان الطلبه بتوعنا يشتركوا في هذا المؤتمر الجليل. فرصة الحقيقة دكتور عبد الفتاح أول ما اتكلم فيها الحقيقة حسيت إنها فكرة عظيمة، وإن شاء الله هينتج عنها recommendations وتوصيات إن شاء الله يتم الاستفادة منها. أحب أتوجه بالشكر أيضاً للسيد الأستاذ الدكتور محمد ضياء عميد الكلية لإتاحة الفرصة لينا في الكلية إن احنا نقدر نغير، وطبعاً بتوجه بالشكر للسوبرفايزر الأساسي الجندي المجهول اللي هو مش متشاف النهارده ومش موجوده معانا، دكتوره ريهام ابو الفضل، وهي استاذ لطب الاسنان الاطفال والدنتال بابليك هيلث في كليه طب الاسنان جامعه عين شمس، وهي الحقيقه السوبرفايز للستودنتس ان شاء الله عشان يقوموا بالدور الجميل ده. طبعا بتوجه الشكر للمجموعه الجميله اللي معانا. احنا بنمثل القطاع الطبي، ومعانا كلية العلوم، القطاع الطبي طبعا كلية الطب البشري وكلية طب الأسنان وكلية الصيدلة وكلية التمريض، ومعانا كلية العلوم ضمن المجموعة. الستودنتس الموجودين النهارده هم من كلية الصيدلة والأسنان وطب البشري، وإن شاء الله السيميوليشن يكون على المستوى إن شاء الله اللي يعجبكم واللي يطلع بيه ريكومنديشنز جميلة بإذن الله. أنا بشكر حضراتكم وأتمنى يا رب إن شاء الله إن احنا نتبسط كلنا بالعرض الجميل. اتفضل.
Good morning, dear professors and dear colleagues. My name is Amira Ahmed. I'm a fourth-year dental student, and I'm AMWHO's General Director. Along with my colleagues, I will be representing AMWHO today. I am very glad and honored to be speaking here today. Before I start, I would like to give a special thanks to Dr. Karim al-Battuti, our Vice Dean and our Supervisor, for giving us the chance to be here today, and for the entire administration of the university for providing us with such a great event. And also Dr. Riham Abul Fadl, our Supervisor. Well, first up, before we start with our topic, we would like to introduce you a little bit to our student activity, AMWHO. We are very glad that the university decided this year to have the fourth generation university as a theme between reality and aspiration, since AMWHO is all about aspiration. First up, what does AMWHO stand for? AMWHO stands for Ain Shams Model World Health Organization. As you see from the name, we are a simulation to the World Health Organization. So what do we do exactly? We are a student-run society founded in 2011, currently based at Faculty of Dentistry at Ain Shams University. Through interactive sessions and health campaigns, we followed the WHO's path, acting as a forum for global health, ending with the simulation of the World Health Assembly. Even though we're headquartered in the Faculty of Dentistry, we include students from all schools of the medical sector: medicine, dentistry, pharmaceutical students, nursing students, and even Faculty of Sciences students. Some background about us. What did we do before? First up, we were founded in 2011 to become the first simulation of the World Health Organization in Egypt and in the entire world. Following us were the models of London and Grenada and Paris. In 2013, we collaborated with Faculty of Pharmacy Student Union and broke the world's Guinness record in the screening of diabetes in 24 hours. And in 2015, Ain Shams was nominated AMWHO to the Ministry of Health to attend the actual World Health Assembly in Geneva as part of the official Egyptian delegation. And 4 of our board members went and attended. In 2016, we conducted a research on prevalence of diabetes type 2 and associated risk factors that was published on Medical Integrated Student Research Conference. And in 2019, we joined MSA Model WHO Annual International Conference along with international models from London, Grenada, and Paris. We also addressed the COVID-19 before it was announced a pandemic. And we were the first to tackle this, crisis. And in 2020, we reached the finals of the YLF competition, the largest competition of student activity and platform for student activities in Egypt. Our aim, why do we do this? Why do we do AMWHO? Well, as a model of one of the special agencies of the United Nations, our aims are implemented in the United Nations Sustainable Developmental Goals. About Sustainable Developmental Goals, my colleague Saif Ayman will illustrate more about them next. However, we focus on the 3rd SDG, which is good health and well-being, by promoting the idea of public health to students, raising awareness about global health matters among students particularly, and the society generally through awareness campaigns. And 4th, quality education, where our group-based ILOs are implemented through helping students to acquire debating, negotiation, public speaking, research, and health advocacy skills. And also practicing English language and allowing the students or our members to have early contact with patients. We do not only tackle these 2 SDGs, we tackle many more of the 17 and will also be illustrated by my colleague Saif Ayman next. Now, how do we achieve these aims? We achieve them through, first, interactive sessions. We hold 5 interactive sessions throughout the year. What do we do in those sessions? Well, we discuss medical, political, economical, social, and society-based topics with our members to help them gain basic knowledge about them. We also hold workshops for them to train on the soft skills that I already mentioned. In addition, we help them to get to know each other better, and we help new students to make new friends through our icebreaker activities. Second, our health campaigns. We hold 2 on-floor health campaigns each year. Now, these health campaigns help the students to become more aware of the problems that the patients face and more aware on how to raise awareness about certain health crises and to become more helpful to their society. Some examples of the health campaigns that we hold are the non-communicable diseases awareness and screening campaigns such as the hypertension campaign and diabetes campaign in Demirdash hospitals, the bike ride for causes, and last year due to COVID-19 restrictions, we had to move our mental health awareness campaigns online. Last but not least, our simulation conference, or the simulation to the World Health Assembly. By the end of the year, we hold a simulation conference like that happens actually in Geneva, Switzerland by the WHO. What happens in that conference? Well, our students are assigned to different countries, and we adopt a certain health crisis, an actual on-ground health crisis. And each student researches the health crisis from the point of view of their country and debates and negotiates their stand. And by the end of the conference, we find solutions and resolution to this health crisis. It's not actually thrown away. It used to be sent to the WHO country office. But that's not just it. As a social club, we want our members to break the hectic routine of university, so we hold a couple of fun events throughout the year, such as our Wadi Digla barbecue trip and our karaoke nights. We believe the AMWHO is one unique model, as it not only has an impact on students, it also has an impact on society. It doesn't only give students a theoretical experience, it also gives them an on-ground experience, which is different from any other simulation. On students, ever since its foundation in 2011, AMWHO has helped to change the mindsets of hundreds of medical students to see the medical learning as more than just what's illustrated in our textbooks and in our university lectures, to be aware of the surrounding circumstances and to learn how to have a stand from them, to learn how to debate and negotiate those stands. And this is actually what we want our next generation of doctors to live up to. And on society, our on-ground health campaigns help the patients to check on themselves and to be more aware of non-communicable diseases and other diseases that we raise awareness about. What's next for us? What we aspire for? First up is WHO connection and recognition. As I told you, AMWHO was recognized by WHO and has already joined the World Health Assembly and some regional conferences, and we would like to bring that back. We would like to hold our next conferences inside the WHO regional office. We would like WHO officials to attend our conferences, and we would like to be supervised by them in our research and in our conferences. And second, expansion. Last year, we succeeded to expand in Faculty of Dentistry. This year, we succeeded to expand in Faculty of Dentistry and Nursing. And next year, we would like to expand in different universities. We want to host many students from all universities of Egypt that have medical sector schools. Third is boosting number of delegates, which we are already working on with 32 board members and almost 100 members. And last, further professionalism. We would like to always become more professional than the year before, being trained by the university and hosting professional trainers in our sessions and conferences. At the end, I would like to again thank our supervisors, Dr. Karim and Dr. Reham Abul Fadl. Thank you so much. I will leave the floor to my colleague.
Hello everyone, my name is Sifallah Ayman. I am a second-year dental student, and I would like to thank you all for giving us this amazing opportunity to be here today and give you our thoughts and what we can tell you how we see that we can do a fourth-generation university of national prestige to compete other universities worldwide. And I will talk to you now about the UN SDGs and how we see that they are a good blueprint to work under to formulate a good fourth generation university. First of all, I will tell you what are the SDGs. SDGs stand for Sustainable Development Goals, أهداف التنمية المستدامة. These goals are operated under by the UN and its organizations. And these goals, its main goal is to achieve prosperity, welfare, and overall give people a better life. And we, as a UN organization model, operate under these SDGs too. And we feel that they are the perfect blueprint to work under and operate under its guidelines. So they are related indeed to making a good fourth generation university. So what are these SDGs? They are 17 goals. Being a medical sector university, we mostly focus on SDG number 3 and 4, good health and well-being and good quality education. But a fourth generation university is more than that. A fourth generation university aims to increase the economic and social standing of the people around it, giving it much more than these two goals. Instead of 2, it operates under 8 goals. One is no poverty. excuse me, sorry, no poverty. Of course, by increasing the no poverty and no hunger, by increasing the social standard of the people. And of course, 3 and 4 being a medical sector university, and of increasing number 5 and number 10 by increasing the social standard, eliminating inequalities. And eliminating inequalities opens a lot of opportunities to more people, especially women who are undervalued in the workforce. Giving these opportunities gives more workforce and more professionals. This will definitely give more opportunities and increase the economic welfare of the people. Next is number 8 and number 9. Decent work and economic growth and industry and innovation and infrastructure. All these operate to increase the economic standing of the people and the society in general. Our 11 is sustainable cities and communities, because a sustainable city will definitely have better people, better healthcare systems, better food, and eventually make everyone better. And that's the goal of a 4th generation university, not just for the students, but for the community. And the last one is number 17, partnership for the goals. One of the main pillars of a 4th generation university is having good relations, either externally or internally. And partnership for the goals is exactly that. It needs to have partners worldwide in international organizations and nationally in the national organizations and other NGOs operating inside and outside the country. And these goals are the basis that we operate under to make a good 4th generation university. And now that I've discussed with you the goals of a 4th generation university, I will leave the floor to my colleague Yahya to explain to you briefly how a 4th generation university, what a 4th generation university is and how it operates. And thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Yahya Abdurrahman. I'm a 5th-year medical student. I'm the previous general director of AMWHO, and I'm acting this year as their political advisor. The theme of today's conference is 4th generation universities. My presentation is going to be very technical. It's going to have lots of information, so I require the entire audience to be very focused with me so that we would benefit greatly. The title is Towards the 4th Generation University. What can our universities do to improve and enhance the competitiveness of the MENA region, Middle Eastern and North African region? Introduction. First of all, let us begin with a very simple introduction. What is a university? What are the types of generation of universities? And why nowadays, in the 21st century, there is an incessant need for a new type of generation. A university, simply speaking, it is an institution of higher education and research. It provides usually both undergrad and postgraduate programs. And a funny piece of trivia, the word university is derived from the Latin word universitas magistrorum et scholarium, which means a community of professors and teachers just like yourself, and scholars and students just like myself and my colleagues. Now, I'm going to take you all down memory lane. Let's talk about some history. The theme is 4th generation university, which implies that there is, in fact, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd generation universities. The 3rd generation university was highly focused on education. Strictly education, and that was it. The transfer of knowledge from a professor to a student, and that was it. The first of its kind is the University of Bologna in Italy, which means that the region of Bologna in Italy gave us 2 great things. The first university of its kind, and one of my own personal favorite plates, spaghetti bolognese. I cannot decide which one is better. Moving on. The 2nd generation university. The 2nd generation university introduced scientific research, hard, rigorous, solid scientific research to education. The example, as you can all see, is the University of Humboldt in Berlin. Pretty sure I'm butchering the pronunciation, but I don't know how to speak German. Moving on, the third generation university. The third generation university was first initiated by Cambridge, and it focuses on, again, education, scientific research. However, it added one more extra goal: entrepreneurship, initiating innovation, helping startup, bridging the gap with practical applications by bringing the ideas born inside the university to outside the university. That way, we are able to solve pressing problems in our society. Now, I did not put a picture of the University of Cambridge. As a matter of fact, I put a picture of Ain Shams University because we are considered a third generation university. And being a medical student myself, I could not help except I also put a picture of my own faculty. So again, you guys have seen this at the beginning of our conference. These are the main differences between the first, second, and third generation. I will not be talking about that entire table. What I will be talking about is the objective. As we can see, to recap really quickly, the first generation deals with education, second generation, education and research, third generation, education, research, and entrepreneurship. Moving on. This is what I like to call the main dish, the main theme of our conference, the fourth generation university. Nowadays, especially in the 21st century, especially in the year 2021, the competitiveness of regions, the competitiveness of nations, of countries, is affected by what I like to call the globalization wave, the industrial and technological revolution that, as we can all see and we can all feel, has swiped the entire planet. In this global competition, in this very fierce global competition, material assets such as money has taken a step back, and immaterial assets such as knowledge have become key aspects and engines of economic development. Which means, in the light of all that I have said, globalization, industrial revolution, technological revolution, the modern universities must face that global competition. The modern universities must be able to step up to these challenges. They must be able to produce graduates. They must be able to produce students who are able not only to cope with the global and international labor market, but to stand at the top of it. Meaning that the 21st century universities must be able to proactively influence the social and economic development of the region in which they're located in. And this is exactly when the fourth generation university was born. They emerged in response, again, to the industrial and technological tensions that are, quite frankly, the hallmark of our era. Again, we keep talking a lot about fourth generation universities, how they were born, why they came into fruition. But what exactly is a fourth generation universities? Being a medical student myself, I have come to appreciate the power of definitions. Every single terminology should have its own distinct definition. However, although that the concept of a fourth generation university appears in international literature, there is no scientific consensus yet on the exact definition. However, it can easily be summed as the universities that are able not only to cope, but stay ahead in the technological and industrial race. They are the universities that are able to shape proactively the social status and the economic status of the regions in which they're located in, meaning they act as key to societal development, transformation, and elevation. Of course, now that I have tried to define a fourth generation university, the question that would pop into everyone's mind: how can a university, even a fourth generation university, elevate and improve the competitiveness of a region or a nation or a country? In order to understand that question, I will talk about what is known as the pyramid model of competitiveness. As we can see, the pyramid model of competitiveness is a generalized concept. It is not strictly confined to the definition of a fourth generation university. Let me be more clear. In order for any institution to be competitive, there are factors to be met. There are conditions to be met, and these factors and conditions are found in this pyramid. I will not be talking about the entire conditions or all of the conditions of this pyramid. I will only be talking about what matters to us as institutions of higher education. And I have circled them in red. Skills of workforce, innovative activity and entrepreneurship, and of course, research and development. Now I would ask you all a single, very easy question. What kind of institution do we have that is able to do these three conditions? It is able to produce a group of people who are skilled and knowledgeable in their field of study. It is able to produce a group of people who are capable of innovation and entrepreneurial activity, who are able to produce a group of people who know how to do research, who know how to use that research for practical application, and that answer would simply be a university, which means that any single university, any institution of higher education has the ability single-handedly on its own to mark 3 of the conditions found in this pyramid model of competitiveness. This is a diagram showing how university can affect regional competitiveness. And again, I am not going to be talking about the entire diagram. I will be briefly explaining it. It is divided into short-term effects and long-term effects. We'll be tackling the long-term effects. Knowledge, human capital, and attraction of enterprises. Let's talk more about them, please. How can a university, a fourth generation university, improve the competitiveness of the area it is located in? Again, we have said, 1, by providing a human capital for innovation. What exactly does that mean? Using new means, using modern means, such as an interdisciplinary approach, a project-based learning, digital skills. And I cannot highlight the importance of digital skills, especially in the COVID era, where online education and distance learning have become the new norm. And finally, using a self-organized student activities, like our very own AMWHO, these are the means in which the university can use, in addition, of course, to a proper curriculum, to produce graduates who are knowledgeable in their field of study, who have entrepreneurial skills, and who have excellent leadership skills. These are the kind of graduates we're looking for. These are the kind of graduates we are aspiring to have emerge from our universities. Because think about it. If we have good graduates capable of entrepreneurial activity and leadership skills, this means that we're going to push them and launch them into the labor market, which means that they're going to perform new business models, entrepreneurial activity, and all of that eventually is going to elevate the social and economic development of the city or the nation or the region in which they're located. Secondly, research. And I know all of us here belong to the medical sector. We have a very, and it is what I like to call a traditional perspective on research. The research, however, that I'm talking about is how can we use the research that is produced from our universities, which is by no means below average. As a matter of fact, it is high quality research. How can we use that research for the sake of fourth generation university? The answer actually is very simple. We give access to a global pipeline of knowledge to regional stakeholders in their innovation process. And of course, you're going to ask me, how? would someone who do not belong in the medical sector be able to understand solid scientific medical research? A very understandable question. And this is the trick. As a university, and also the duty of stakeholders who are interested, we should have our own concept. We should have our own means of translating that hard scientific research into understandable concepts to members of the general public, so that it is absorbed, it is used to create value, to do new business models, and to do entrepreneurship activity. And then finally, using both the skilled human capital that we have produced and the knowledge exchange for innovation systems. Now, how can we ensure that this knowledge exchange is properly done? Very easily, we have a list that we can do. One, any technology that is produced inside the university, that is used by the university, it should be transferred to partners found outside of the university so that it is used to create value. We should be able to also facilitate business innovation through user-friendly access to university research, which means our university research should be, again, highly accessible and easily understandable by members of the general public. As a fourth-generation university as well, we should strive, we should do our best to form long-term strategic partnerships with businesses, with local organizations, with international organizations. As a matter of fact, we should form relationships with international universities as well. We should as well support business creation, which means we should grab our students, encourage them to do their own startups, it's their own ideas, their own execution. We should be able to encourage them and guide them through it. And then finally, we should be able to offer continuing education or professional development courses for external stakeholders. At the end of the day, in order to be a properly built fourth-generation university, what matters is not only the students, what matters is not only the faculty, what matters are also people, community partners, international organizations found outside of the university. Now, I am done with defining a fourth-generation university. And I am also done with defining how can a university, a single institution, be able to affect the regional competitiveness, and how can a fourth-generation university in specific be able to affect the region competitiveness? Now, of course, that question again that would pop in everyone's mind, it popped in my mind when I was preparing for this presentation, is how? How do we build a fourth-generation university? What are the components? Again, as we've said, across all the literature, across all the papers that I have read, there is no scientific definition. There's no distinct definition that we can, pinpoint. Everyone has his own interpretation of the fourth-generation university. Even today, multiple groups of people have talked about fourth-generation university, and the definition varied between most of them. So what are the components of a fourth-generation education? Well, first of all, you've got to analyze, as we said, how can a university affect the competitiveness of regions. You've got to analyze how can a university affect the social, political, and economic development that it can have, and the economic and social environment of the university. After analyzing all of this, we're able to finally come to not a conclusion, but components. These are the components of a successful fourth-generation university. As you can see, it is divided into two pillars. The education and research pillar, which again is what we all do, what we all can do, what any university in Egypt has to offer, and the third mission pillar. So I will not be talking about the research pillar. I will be more focused on the third mission pillar. What are the elements that it contains? Number one, transfers. And we're not talking about transportation, of course. What we're talking about is the transfer of knowledge between primarily professors and students, students and other students, as we do in AMWHO, students and community partners, as we do when we do our campaign, our awareness campaigns, as my colleague Amira has said, community partners and their own, and other community partners. These are the kind of transfers we're talking about. We're also talking about, as I have mentioned before, the transfers of technology. Technology born inside a university, more so. Technology that is properly used and can only be properly used by members of a university. We should be able to transfer that kind of knowledge to every single stakeholder interested. That way, the knowledge and the technology can be used across the entire country, across the entire city, in order to elevate the social and economic status of Egypt. Secondly, connections. And I have, again, mentioned them before. We're talking about connections with local community partners. We're talking about connections with local hospitals, research institutes in Egypt. We're not only talking about local connections, by the way, we're talking about international ones. You know, connections like with the World Health Organization, like Amira has mentioned we have. We should even be more ambitious. Connection with the UNICEF, connections with world-class universities, connections with research institutes outside of Egypt. That's how ambitious we should be. Thirdly, adaptive structures. And what I mean when I say adaptive structures is that there should be no bureaucracy. There should be no red tape. The hierarchical organization of a fourth-generation university is flexible. It is open to ideas. It is open to criticism. It is open to improvement. It is open to constant change. So this is what I mean when I say adaptive structures. And then finally, services. At the end of the day, if the university can generate its own income, that on its own would be able to elevate and increase the social and the economic status of the place where it is in. And a very simple example of the services is outside of Egypt, in the, let's say, United States or Canada, every university, and it's a very simple idea, by the way, but it's brilliant. Every university has its own merchandise, its own t-shirts, its own sweaters, its own cups, and they're sold on grounds in the university to members of that university, to people visiting. And income generated from these merchandise usually and directly goes back to the university. This is my conclusion. I am sorry if I bored anyone. You know what? As a matter of fact, I was gonna review everything that I have talked about, but I'm gonna end this on a more personal note. 2 or 3 days ago, all of us, we were glued in front of our TV screens, watching what can only be described as the magnificent event of the Golden Pharaohs Parade. I'm sure all of us swelled with pride. I felt exactly the same way. But you know else what I felt? I came to realize that no matter how difficult something is, no matter how impossible it may seem, if we as Egyptians put our mind and our efforts and our energy into it, nothing cannot be accomplished. We can accomplish whatever we want. So the concept of a fourth-generation university might seem haunting. It might seem difficult. It might seem, at this point, even impossible to reach. But again, I would say if we're able to gather our energy, our efforts, and our minds collectively together, then there's no impossible. We can definitely achieve that. And judging from how important it is would be for Egypt and the region it is, I say it is our duty to have our own brand of fourth-generation university. Thank you very much. I promise أنا هبطل أتكلم كمان 5 دقايق. لا معلش ممكن تبتدي. Sorry, move quickly. As my friend Amira said, she's the amazing General Director of AMWHO this year. And with the crisis of COVID, she actually made it manageable. Thank you, Amira. Again, as we've said, at the end of every year, we have our own annual conference. The annual conference usually is a simulation of the actual real-life conference that the World Health Assembly every year in Geneva. So we decided to show you what that looks like. In the conference, in the actual conference that we have on grounds in our faculty, we usually pick a health crisis. And as Amira said, we assign countries to the members of our organization, and they do their own research, so on and on and on and on. And usually at the end of that conference, by the way, it is a 2-day conference, and each day goes from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. At the end of our 2-day conference, we usually come to a resolution. That resolution usually strives to solve or produce solutions to solve the health crisis that we have picked. As a matter of fact, last year in February, we picked COVID before it became a thing. Anyhow, we decided to show you a mini simulation, hopefully it won't take more than 20 minutes, of the annual conference that we usually have. This year's crisis, or as a matter of fact, this conference's crisis is not going to be a health-related crisis. It is going to be how can Egypt, leading universities such as Ain Shams, become 4th-generation universities. And we're going to be having what we call stakeholders. As you can see, we have our own placards describing what each of our members are acting as stakeholders of. There's going to be a stakeholder of a university, government, international organizations, local organizations, and of course, since this is the 21st century, social media and internet. Thank you very much. We'll begin shortly.
Honorable Council, kindly come to order. The 4th Generation University Conference now in session. We shall now proceed with the roll call. Representative of Ain Shams University?
Present.
Representative of Government?
Present.
Representative of International Organization?
Present.
Representative of Local Organization?
Present.
Representative of Social Media?
Present.
Seeing that all the representatives are present, we shall now proceed to the agenda. Addressing challenges, concerns, and goals of a partnership between WHO and Ain Shams University's medical sector to build an infrastructure for 4G universities. We shall now proceed in the conference. Representative wishing to speak, please raise your placard. Honorable Representative of Ain Shams University, you now have the floor.
Honorable Chair, honorable attendees, we are very grateful for your participation in our conference. Nowadays, universities have a quite intense role in the improvement of competitiveness of certain territories, and in many cases, they have an active role regarding economic development. Modern economic development requires broadening of the traditional educational and research activities of universities. High-quality education is necessary, but not as sufficient factor for achieving the optimal potential of universities to affect the social and the economic environment. High-standard research and the adaptation of research output by local economy is also essential. Through this, the competitiveness of enterprises increasing the competitiveness of the entire region. The 4th generation approach focuses on this role of universities, and in light of the international move towards it, we believe Ain Shams as a nationally and regionally pioneering university is ideal for such transition, with several of the 4th generation components already attended. For our recommendations and Ain Shams University contributions, we recommend creating of government-university industrial collaborations for research and funding. The GUI, or the Government University Industry Collaboration, words for formation of joint research corporations that integrate research from different partners in order to capture innovations by these organizations that have not been implemented by any other companies before. The industry requires fundamental long-term research for new knowledge. This would encourage it to invest in academic research and in universities. The industry requires programs to provide continual interaction of academic and industrial peers so that it ensures the knowledge remains relevant to both of them, and that the current practitioners would promote flow of knowledge between the two sectors. Examples for the GUI collaborations, which is actually happening in the United States, are the National Science Foundation Engineering Research Centers program, where universities could host this program inside campus and collaborate with the government and the industry to form this joint research. Our second recommendation is creation of collaborations with local organizations such as 57-357 and Magdi Yaqub's Heart Foundation. Local healthcare providers also and entrepreneurs in order to incorporate students in on-ground learning experiences, integrating the educational topics into health problems drawn from actual professional practice rather than just presenting them separately. Such opportunities are already present in Egypt, such as Al-Qawafil or the medical convoys launched by the Ministry of Health. However, we need academic monitoring for providing guidance and clarification about the learning goals and systems, for choosing the appropriate project and partnership for each curriculum, for providing structure and enough knowledge for students to be able to benefit from the project and benefit the entire environment, in creating a detailed syllabus with assignments contributing to the project and restrictions to attendance. And that, of course, to guarantee student interaction, thus accomplishing both community service and refining of the students' skills, sense of social responsibility, and reducing the gap between academia and labor market requirements. Community-based projects could be as little as minor awareness campaigns, such as AMWHO does, and they are done in many universities in Thailand, and as large as establishing what is called modified community action research tracks. Our third recommendation is hosting of management, entrepreneur, language, and soft skill instructors in addition to the industrial peers to lecture on campus to provide graduates with the essential skills beside academia to become successful physicians. Our fourth recommendation is establishing external connections with international organizations such as the United Nations organizations, providing the university with international experience and mobility for both students and professors. Now, how can mobility of students occur? It can be achieved on a national scale through creation of academic projects outside the institute or outside the governorate, or on an international scale through focusing, promoting, and funding of student exchange programs. Now, what do student exchange programs help the students with? Gaining of new experiences, professional development, and cultural enrichment. Ain Shams University is already a partner in IFMSA student exchange program. However, we can broaden our partnerships to include other programs such as the Global Undergrad Exchange Program, the Fulbright Foreign Student and Postgrads Program, the Egyptian Association for International Medical Studies. Ain Shams is not included in it yet. Such programs would support the internationalism of the university. Now, through these 5 recommendations, it would contribute to graduating a competent workforce. Not only competent among their peers, but also helping Egypt to become competent and helping the entire region to become competent. Our 6th recommendation is focusing on creating and maintaining structures that make academic exchange and mobility possible, such as international degree programs. For example, international degree programs, the new German-Egyptian master's course in cultural resource management launched in Luxor last year. 7th, professional training of professors and increasing their number to accommodate to the changes in the educational and assessment system, and eventually change the attitude of the faculty in medical colleges, which can be practiced in their day-to-day practice in national, international, and in medical colleges. There are national and international programs, for example, to be recommended, such as the United Nations System Staff College Courses, the Fulbright Visiting Scholar Program, and the AMWHO Essential Skills in Medical Education courses. Our eighth recommendation is collaboration with international universities, such as previous collaborations of Ain Shams with Johns Hopkins University to host lectures and training programs. Our ninth and final recommendation is constant feedback from students and professors to guarantee their satisfaction and full understanding of the approach. To achieve these recommendations, we require the endorsement of the government, local organizations, and international organizations. And thank you, most honorable chair and attendees.
Thank you, most honorable representative of Ain Shams University. Representative wishing to speak, kindly raise your placard. Representative of government, you now have the floor.
Honorable Chair, Honorable Council, Honorable attendees. Nowadays, universities have quite an intense role in the improvement of competitiveness of areas they are located in. They have an active role in economic development. Modern economic development demands that the traditional activities of a university, such as education and research, it should broaden. For universities to be able to reach their optimal potential and fully become a fourth generation university, we, as the government, are willing to contribute the following. We can act as facilitator, provide startup and accelerator services for both undergraduate and postgraduate students, provide financial incentives and tax reduction for university business collaboration. We could support marketing in order to attract foreign direct investment and talents from abroad. We can allow flexible immigration rules for foreign talent so that they have no problem when it comes to visa regulation or residence permits come and live in Egypt. We also can act as a funding agent. Public authorities remain the core funders of universities throughout Egypt. We can provide funding for research, applying that research outside of the university. We can support venture capital funds responsible for different startups across Egypt. We can increase the core funding of the university. We can also fund research and infrastructure, build new research institutes, and we can allocate special funding for any kind of strategic or innovative or entrepreneurial activity. Also, as the government, it is in our capacity to act as developers of infrastructure. We can develop the building infrastructures of our universities, the campus infrastructure. We can provide funding to science parks across Egypt. We can do urban planning, rezoning. We can build entire cities around university so that it is a fully fledged university campus. Finally, and most importantly, we can build a strong online infrastructure for distance learning, for online education. We have all come to realize that digital skills in the 21st century is no longer a luxury, it is a necessity. The above contributions are what we, the government, can and are able to contribute in order for Egypt's leading universities to transition and become fully fledged fourth generation universities. Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, Honorable Council, and Honorable attendees.
Thank you, most honorable representative of government. Representative wishing to speak, please raise your placard. Representative of local organization, you have the floor.
Honorable Chair, honorable attendees. It is our greatest pleasure to be here today as part of this astute assembly, and we thank you dearly for this invitation. The establishment of a fourth generation university is a great endeavor that will change the lives of many as the effects of a better social and economic lives are felt. And since many of the local organizations already share such goals, and one of the cornerstones of a fourth generation university is to have strong international relations with national organizations, and as national organizations are an indivisible part of society that are deeply rooted in our traditions and culture, we believe that this partnership is the perfect partnership, and we will have a great role in this noble endeavor. And here are our recommendations. Firstly, organizations such as Risala and Orman and other charities will partner with Ain Shams University to hold community screening in destitute areas to find what they need and accordingly hold graded medical campaigns to said areas. Such campaigns will raise the living standards, social and economic standards of these areas by having a healthier population, increase medical awareness and disease screening and management, and raise an empathic medical professional that feels the need of the people and has more field knowledge that will greatly benefit the workforce. Secondly, Ain Shams University can partner with established organizations such as مجدي عوب هارت فاونديشن, مستشفى 57 357, مصر للأدوية وأمون للأدوية, and major dental clinics to send professionals to teach the students extracurricular means of treatment or drug manufacturing to give the students knowledge that is yet to be implemented in their curriculum. Technological advancement is an unstoppable train, and the ability of students to comprehend this statement and their eagerness to learn will produce a better and well-informed medical professional. Thirdly, Ain Shams University can partner with women rights and health institutions such as Bahia and the National Council for Women to increase awareness about women's rights and health, hopefully ending lifetimes worth of stigma and ignorance, thus increasing the social standing for women and increase their great impact on the economy of their country and their household. Lastly, we appeal to the government to reduce taxation on the mentioned institutions, as they are mostly donation-based organizations that need thousands, if not millions, of pounds to operate effectively, as more money gives them greater freedom to benefit the people, the students, and the environment around them. Thank you, Most Honorable Chair and attendees.
Thank you, Most Honorable Representative of Local Organization. Representative wishing to speak, kindly raise your placard. Representative of International Organization, you now have the floor.
Thank you, Most Honorable Chair, Honorable attendees. Our invitation to this conference is highly appreciated. Researchers prove that the world needs to double the health workers by 2030 to meet the United Nations Sustainable Goals. Hence, a radical action is highly needed. Hence, a radical action is highly needed to enhance the quantity and the quality of future healthcare workers. Now, let me start with international organizations that endeavor to enhance the medical education. The World Health Organization, the WHO's commitment to medical education is of long standing. It originates from its birth in 1948. Now, one of the most prominent actions done by the WHO was publishing guidelines of medical education in 2013 as a part of our program on the rapid scaling up of the health workforce. These guidelines advocate for medical education to be more community-based education by involving the community in the medical education. It also encourages medical education institutions to adopt and improve their interactions and planning between educational and health sectors and other sectors as well. Now, also the WHO has a partnership with World Federation for Medical Education. This partnership is based on a network of partners to set long-term values and standards. Our national partner here in Egypt is National Authority for Assurance and Accreditation. We work together to ensure that our guidelines for competent medical education are fulfilled. Now, our contributions towards fourth generation medical education. Ain Shams University is considered to be one of our partners. We suggest that our partnership becomes more proactive by engaging students. For instance, through the Demirdash hospitals and clinics, we can do researches on the endemic diseases here in Egypt, or even train our students or Ain Shams students in our centers. This will enhance the students' interaction and communication skills with the society. In fact, the students can be the ones who collect the data. We can point out the endemic diseases here in Egypt through the collected data and launch screening and vaccination campaigns by the help of Ministry of Health and Higher Education. And such a partnership is not new, as our partnership with Ministry of Health has shown great success in Meet Million Sihha campaigns. Students can benefit from these campaigns by taking part in them and improve their hands-on skills and communication skills, let alone the community, which will overcome the egregious diseases that threatens it. As we all know, a healthy community is the first step towards economical growth. By this, we fulfill a major couple of criteria regarding a fourth generation university. Number one, by involving the community and benefiting the local society. Number two, by providing the students an innovative workspace away from the university's borders. Now, modern problems requires modern solutions. Our partnership with IMED Trust. Now, the WHO had a partnership with IMED Trust, which is an online platform for medical education. With technology invading every aspect of life, we need to recruit technology in our medical education. IMED Trust has multiple of partners, such as University of Oxford, University of Amsterdam, University of California, University of Aberdeen, the United Nations, and the WHO. We suggest Ain Shams University to join this platform through WHO regional office. As such platform will make lectures more mobile, using gadgets and smartphones. It will give our students the freedom to have more time for on-ground experience and have campaigns. Also, this platform will offer graduates a global experience from various universities, and this will lessen the expenses of medical education. The platform will also hold frequent assessment to improve the quality of education. Thus, this platform has to work concurrently with the traditional education system. This would lead to globally competent medical graduate. Now, the exchange programs. International Federation for Medical Education, or as known by IFMSA, and International Association for Dental Students, IADS, are international organization that offers exchange programs for undergraduate students. Now, we should open the door and encourage students for such programs, as such programs will broaden their horizons and they will learn new techniques which might be new to their culture. And this will make them acquire cutting-edge skills and open the doors for their innovative mind to invent new techniques and skills. Now, another couple of organizations, which are the UNICEF and UNESCO. The UNESCO offers educational campaigns for the rural areas and less fortunate communities. And with a partnership with Ain Shams University, students can volunteer in these awareness campaigns and benefit the society. And one of the latest campaigns by the UNICEF was raising awareness for oral hygiene for children in Fayoum. This could have been a graded project by the Public Health Department and Faculty of Dentistry. Lastly, the funders who can fund these projects. In fact, the World Bank is an organization that has funded similar projects. For instance, a similar project in Vietnam, where the University of Medicine and Pharmacy in Ho Chi Minh City fostered community-based learning with the students to improve the students' practical skills as well as communication skills with their regional patients. As the students became in contact with patients in the second year rather than in the fifth year. The classrooms now became more interactive as technology became an integrated method for the students to ask based learning and answer problem based. Thank you, Most Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Most Honorable Representative of International Organization. Representative wishing to speak, kindly raise your placard. Representative of Social Media, you now have the floor.
Honorable Chair, honorable attendees, we would like to thank you for giving us the chance to be part of this esteemed conference. No one can deny the vast reliance on internet and social media in today's society. But why is the internet and social media so important or why is the internet and social media viewed as all-powerful today? To answer this question, in fact, internet and social media are viewed as all-powerful today because both are tools that enable people to discover and learn new information, share ideas, and interact with new organizations and new people. Now, in addition, the power and significance of the internet and social media can be seen in several different fields, such as education, business, entertainment, welfare, and a host of others. So, their importance isn't merely confined to specific fields or specific people. If you are a student, the internet can serve you exactly as it can serve a company or a university. Now that I mentioned some of the merits of the internet, it can definitely occur to you that the success of a 4G university can never make its way without a smart and consistent use of the internet. Now the question is, how can the government and the university pull together the social media and the internet to implement and market 4G universities? To answer this question, we will have to mention the following recommendations. Recommendation number 1, a university should make sure that its brand is well represented through its social media accounts. Some things that will help establish a university's brand on social media are username. Keep usernames the same across all platforms. This way, students can easily find you on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and any other platforms you are on. Images. Just as usernames should be the same across all platforms, images or your profile pictures should also be easily identifiable for students. Biography. Most social media platforms offer a place to include a biography for your university. Don't waste this place. Biographies are an excellent opportunity to show students what's important to the school or the university. The tone and voice of your brand online should always be decided. So you should always have to decide if your tone is going to include sarcasm or is it always going to be formal all the way. Now, recommendation number 2 is when it comes to social media, always speak to your audience. In our case, students are the audience. Post content that's designed for the platform and meaningful to them. To apply this, you have to use the right networks. Ask yourself, are prospective students using Instagram, Snapchat, or Facebook? Find out where your audience is and start building a presence and community there. Create content specifically for your audience. Ask yourself, what do potential students want to know? Share successes your university has experienced and what research is happening at your university. Find out what your students are curious about and create content that will be interesting and useful to them. For example, Harvard University's social media often posts student-related stories that are relatable to other students. By focusing on the students, it shows that they come first at Harvard. Recommendation number 3 is a university can also make collaborations with famous companies so that companies can brand and market the university. By this way, a university can reach to a broader and more engaged audience directly from a trusted source. Recommendation number 4 is a university can also make collaborations with companies applying augmented reality. Augmented reality can allow a university to offer unique and immersive digital experiences and to engage students in a memorable way. For example, a university can implement augmented reality for purposes like allowing students to visualize their whole experience in the university. By this way, the university can win students and brand for itself. Now that I mentioned all about the social media sector of the university, we will have to shed some light on the technological infrastructure. Our government plans to raise the efficiency of infrastructure in Egyptian universities at the administrative and educational levels to turn them into smart universities. According to the Ministry of Higher Education, smart universities integrate modern technology into the educational process, making it more efficient and effective. The two officials of higher education and communication agreed to prepare a comprehensive plan for the development of technological infrastructure in universities to apply the project in 2 phases. The first phase will include testing students in the medical fields, which include dentistry, pharmacy, medicine, physiotherapy, and nursing. The second stage will include testing students in the rest of the university specialities. The infrastructure of test centers at university will be developed and connected with fiber cables in 2 stages in preparation for the transition to e-tests. Thank you, Your Most Honorable Chair and most honorable attendees.
Thank you, Most Honorable Representative of Social Media. We shall now move to the resolution presented by Representative of International Organization, Nuran Goma.
Honorable Professor, honorable attendees, we believe that these recommendations will achieve the fourth generation approach in the university. Number 1, creating a government university industrial collaboration for the research and funds. Number 2, creating collaboration between the government, local organizations, international organizations, and Ain Shams University. For example, we urge the government to decrease the taxes on charitable organizations and hospitals, such as 57 that can offer internships for clinical pharmacy students. AMWHO Heart Foundation that can offer training for nurse and medical students. Partnership with local organizations such as Risala and Uruman, and international organizations such as UNICEF, UNESCO, and the WHO, which can help Ain Shams University to offer on-ground community-based medical education through their medical campaigns to the less fortunate areas. Number 3, expand our communication with organizations that offers exchange programs such as International Federation for Medical Students Association and International Association for Dental Students for professional development and cultural enrichment. Number 4, professional training for professors and increasing their number through national and international programs as United Nations System Staff Course and Erasmus. Number 5, fostering more research projects and research on campus with focus on the utilization of this knowledge to improve economic and competitiveness in the international field. Number 6, collaboration with other universities such as Johns Hopkins University to host lectures and training programs. Number 7, launch an online platform with patients' data and diagnosis so that the students can easily get access for the patients they can treat as a part of their requirements. And this can be a collaboration between Ain Shams University and the Ministry of Health. Number 8, join IMED Trust Medical Education online platform through the WHO regional office so that the students can be offered lectures from professors in global universities such as University of Aberdeen, University of California, University of Amsterdam, and University of Oxford. Thank you everyone, Nuran Goma with you, and I would always like to present myself as AMWHO's founder at Faculty of Dentistry. Thank you.
احنا خلاص we are done. Any questions بقى for the remaining 7 minutes?
We will move to the discussion now.
أي حد عنده أي questions أي استفسارات أي comments on the presentation? في حد ولا؟
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Karim. This meeting is suspended. اتفضل.
انا بقى يعني هتكلم عربي شويه عشان برضه كل الناس يفهموا يعني، وبعدين شرحنا الناس اللي بتتكلموا عربي برضه يعني، في ناس تشك ما بيتكلموش عربي خالص. طبعا يعني ما بقدرش برضه اخفي قوي تحيزي للميديكال فيلد، لان انا دكتور في الاصل. لكن الحقيقه طبعا زي ما دايما بقول الحقيقه لما بشوف اي اكتيفيتي لطلبه جامعه عين شمس بقول يعني اكيد لما احنا بنسمع يعني شباب يفرح زي دول ما بنخافش على البلد دي ابدا يعني. ما حدش يخاف على بلد هياخدها ناس زي دول، دي اول حاجه يعني. الحاجه الثانيه افكاركم فاليد وحلوه قوي، بس عايز اعلق على بعض الافكار اللي هي من كتر ما هي فاليد وكويسه احنا ابتديناها فعلا، بس يمكن يكون الانفو دي مش موجوده عندكم، فانا دوري كنائب رئيس جامعه ان انا اقول لكم ايه من الحاجات دي اللي احنا ابتدينا فيها واللي احنا عايزين بقى مساعدتكم ازاي نطورها. يعني عجبتني الافكار جدا، يعني مثلا مساله البارتنرشيب مع مجدي يعقوب ده ابتدى بالفعل. يعني عايز اقول لك انه يمكن 20 to 25% من الورك فورس عند مجدي يعقوب دلوقتي بالتبادل بين جامعه عين شمس وبين مجدي يعقوب، الناس بتروح تقعد هناك لمده سنتين وترجع تاني، والكلام ده كونتينيوس وموجود وبنكبره دلوقتي، وبالذات كمان انتوا عارفين يمكن سير مجدي يعقوب هيعمل فرع في القاهره، ودي حاجه هتحصل قريبا جدا جدا، وده هيبقى بتعاون كبير جدا مع جامعه عين شمس، فدي يعني بطمنكم على الحاجات دي. يمكن موضوع 57 ده نتكلم فيه لوحدنا عشان ليا فيه شويه اراء كده على الفاندنج بتاعهم وطريقه شغلهم، مع كامل الاحترام للي بيعملوه في العلم يعني، لكن يمكن طريقه الاداره شويه تخلي مساله ان نون بروفيت اورجانيزيشن زينا تشتغل معاهم فيها شويه صعوبات. هنتكلم فيها علشان ما نبقاش بنقول كلام يحسب علينا يعني. مساله الايرازموس والجرانتس والبروجكتس فاندنج، احنا عملنا نقله كبيره قوي، ولازم تقعدوا مع الدكتور تامر النادي وهو استاذ كليه الهندسه وماسك البروجكتس في جامعه عين شمس. حصل نقله كبيره قوي في خلال السنه اللي فاتت لما غيرنا طريقه اداره البروجكت مانجمنت في جامعه عين شمس، من ناس من حاجه بتديرها موظفين مع كامل الاحترام للموظفين افكارهم محدوده وبيعملوا روتين ورك، لحاجه بتدار دلوقتي ببروفيشنالز. عندنا جرانت هانتنج اوفيس، عندنا شغل كبير قوي اتعمل في البروجكتس. طبعا لسه عندنا امال كبيره، لكن انا عايز اقول لكم انه بالذات لما جبتوا سيره الايرازموس، احنا اكتر جامعه في مصر بتستفيد من منح ايرازموس، لكن احنا عايزين افكاركم وتقعدوا مع البروجكت مانجمنت علشان تقولوا حاجات جديده ممكن يستفيدوا منها. بالنسبه للبارتنرشيب مع الجامعات العالميه، طبعا احنا عندنا امثله كثيره جدا في حاجات كتير جدا في جامعه عين شمس. يعني نقول مثلا ان كليه الهندسه وكليه الحاسبات عندهم بارتنرشيب حقيقيه مع جامعه ايست لندن، والشهاده دلوقتي شهاده مزدوجه بين الجامعتين، حاسبات وهندسه، ابتدت في هندسه وكملت في حاسبات دلوقتي. في بارتنرشيبس كتيره قوي كنا بلاننج ليها في كليه الطب، لكن وقفت بسبب الكوفيد، وكنا قريبين جدا من بارتنرشيب مع يعني كليات طب لما تسمعها بالذات يا سيف. سيف برضه شكلها سيف، اسمك ايه؟ يحيى. يعني هتسعد جدا بالاسماء، لكن توقفت بسبب يعني المفاوضات توقفت بعد الكوفيد 19. كل واحد بقى يعني ملهي في حاله دلوقتي، مش فاضي للبارتنرشيبس. لكن عايز اقول لك انه انتوا اتكلمتوا برضو على مساله الريسيرش سنترز، وانك انت يبقى ليك اكسسبيليتي للبيشنت داتا. احنا عندنا فيرتشوال هوسبيتال ابتدت في كليه الطب جامعه عين شمس من حوالي 6-7 سنين، ابتدت باسم النيورولوجي الاول، وبعدين بقت بلاتفورم عشان تعلم الافارقه، وعملت شغل مع 11 بلد افريقي. لكن انا عايز اقول لك ان احنا اباوت ان احنا نبدا فول فيرتشوال هوسبيتال اوف عين شمس يونيفرسيتي. تعطلت شويه بسبب الكوفيد برضو، هتعمل شغل رائع، وادعوك انك تقعد مع الدكتور تامر عماره، ده استاذ النيورولوجي هو اللي ماسك الفيرتشوال هوسبيتال. وعملنا حاجه تشبه كده اثناء الكوفيد، يعني احنا اكتر جامعه قدرت فيرتشوالي تدي ادفايسز للجنرال بوبيوليشن في اثناء الجائحه اللي فاتت. فيعني الفكره فاليد قوي واحنا ماشيين فيها، وبرضه محتاجين افكاركم لانه افكاركم ممكن تضيف كتير. بالنسبه لي مساله اليونسكو واليونيسف، ما اعرفش برضه انتوا ازاي ما تعرفوش ان احنا الجامعه الوحيده في مصر عندها بارتنرشيب مع اليونسكو، واحنا واحد من الفاوندرز من الجامعات الفاوندرز بتاعت AMWHO اللي هو بلاتفورم لل اونلاين education، وجامعه عين شمس كان لها الفيرست presidency of this platform which belongs to the UNESCO، وعملنا معاه شغل هايل في السنه اللي فاتت دي، وما زلنا بنعمل شغل هايل. وهتقعدوا برضو مع الدكتوره منى عبد العال مديره تطوير التعليم، وانا بشرف ان انا كنت في اول جلسه للAIOE دي كانت في الصين قبل الكوفيد على طول، يعني رحت انا ايام يعني كنت جنب ووهان كده، بس ما حصلش حاجه، يعني كان لسه الفيروس ما كترش قوي كده. وقدرنا ثرو انتخابات ان احنا نحصل على البريزيدنسي جامعه عين شمس يونيفرستي، ولسه خلصانه من فتره قصيره قوي، لكن ما زلنا لنا ليدنج رول مع اليونسكو في AMWHO، وبدعوكم ان انتم تقعدوا مع اداره تطوير التعليم وتشوفوا البلاتفورم دي وتدخلوا عليها. وكان مثال حي ليها السمارت كلاس روم اللي موجوده في كليه الهندسه، دي كانت بمساعده من AMWHO، وما زالت بتشتغل معاهم شغل كبير جدا جدا. فانا بس بقول ان انتوا افكاركم فاليد جدا، ان انتوا يعني، ويمكن احنا بقى يعني المخطئين في ان مفيش كوميونيكيشن كافي، ما تعرفوش ان ده موجود، لكن دي بقى يعني ادعوكم بقى تشتغلوا على الحاجات اللي احنا قلنا عليها دي، عشان النكست سيشن كده تقولوا لنا رايكم بقى كامهو في اللي احنا عملناه، وازاي ده ياخد خطوه اكبر. الحقيقه انتوا شباب تفرحوا بكل المقاييس، وانا متاكد كمان ان النموذج المحاكاه الثاني بتاع الكليات النظريه برضه هيكون حاجه قويه جدا. والحقيقه سمعت عنكم كتير، ما حضرتلكوش قبل كده، لكن بعد ما حضرت لكم وانا متاكد برضه من المستوى اللي هشوفه في نموذج المحاكاه التالي، هعمل مفاجاه كده بمساله الجوائز دي ان شاء الله، ان شاء الله، يعني وعد مني بعد ما شفت المستوى المبهر ده، الجوائز اتضربت في 2، فال70,000 هيبقوا 140,000 ان شاء الله. شكرا جدا.
We owe gratitude to such a word. Thank you, Doctor. This meeting is suspended. Thank you, most honorable representative. Thank you, most honorable attendees.